It's the GrizzNation. No retreat talk radio with businessman Morry the Grizz Taylor. Tired of a dead economy? Expect more from America? Tell it to the Grizz.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to GrizzNation. This is Michael Caputo in studio here in Naples, Florida, with Morry the Grizz Taylor, Chief Executive Officer of Titan International Tire Company. Grizz, what a crazy week we had this week. So many terrorist attacks in the United States and in Canada, and the news comes out that Denmark, a country that spawned more foreign fighters than any other nation, Grizz, is actually, when they come back from Syria or wherever they're fighting, they're giving them jobs and psychological counseling. Do you think that's the way we've got to do things here in the United States?
Not quite. Plus, you know, let's face it, the Danish, that's a small country.
A very friendly country.
Very friendly, you know. And, you know, you got to think about, the funny part is they left to go fight. Why the hell didn't they stay there? You know, I don't think they fight real good, so they came back. And then the government takes care of them. But, you know, you can look at what's happening in Europe. You follow up in Canada, because Canada had their big episode.
Right, this week.
And the situation is that it's a sad thing that a couple fellows were killed. At least the Canadians that got involved, they shot straight, so we got two dead terrorists. But it's like I said last week, you know, the only thing they really understand is to take a bullet in the head. And the Danes are, you know, the same thing happened in Europe before. They started, you know, 2 world wars dragged everybody in. And the thing in Europe is that they're screwed. They're going to have a lot of problems. They've never, from all the immigrants that moved in from the Muslim country and Islam, they're not adapting. And what's going to happen is they'll get a lot more terrorism and everything, and then we'll sit back here, give our 2 cents worth. But of course, if you look at our current leadership, they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah, but Morry, they're giving them free psychological counseling. They're finding them jobs and getting them spots in schools and universities. They're practically, well, I mean, not just practically, they're bending over backwards for these men who traveled to the Middle East to kill people. And some people actually say that that's a model for the United States.
Well, you know, if they bend over backwards, where you can plant your foot, okay? The first thing is, though, you probably could take 100, and out of 100, you might be able to talk them some sense into them, but the other 99%, you're not going to. And so while you're doing to the egghead who wants to talk, the egghead who wants to find out, they're all adults. They made their damn choice. So give them what they understand is a bullet. And you don't give it to them in the hand or in the rear. It's a mental thing. So put it through the head.
Well, Morry,
everything.
In Canada, you had an attack on the Parliament, an attack where a soldier guarding basically their tomb of the unknown soldier shot and killed. A very dramatic thing for Canada, where these kinds of things just don't happen. And then just a day later, we had an axe attack, a hatchet attack in New York City. Another Islamist who actually gravely wounded one policeman and injured another as well.
Well, you know, you had an honor guard at that memorial. He had a gun. It is such an honor to be chosen to be an honor guard. And they go through so many different processes to get there. So if you're going to give anybody a loaded gun and stick him out there and he's marching around, it should be them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when that wacko come running up, I guarantee you that guard could shoot a hell of a lot better than the guy that shot him. And you'd have one more dead attacker, and you'd have a guard that possibly could be alive.
Well, you know, Morry, we have a situation going on here where it looks like this kind of stuff is actually, you know, when the Canadian attack happened, people called it terrorism immediately. When the hatchet attack on the police in New York happened, they called it terrorism almost immediately. Do you think things are changing? I remember the officer who opened fire on all the troops out in Texas, they called that workplace violence. I've come to find out he was radicalized by an imam over in the Middle East. Do you think things are changing now? We're not so afraid to call things terrorism?
Well, it's called an election time. The Democrats now are realizing that, damn it, there are some Americans that have a sense of what's right and what we should do. And for Harry Reid and great old Nancy, and I mean, nobody in their right mind would hire those two for anything, and here they're the two branches of government. And, well, Nancy got thrown out, but Harry's still there.
Well, it looks like he might get tossed.
And
I mean,
it
as
would
leader.
be nice. Well, he gets tossed. He'll just be, yeah, he's making too much money while he's in there. But anyhow, you know, an exec.
Wait a second, Morry. He became a millionaire while he was a U.S. senator, right?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Multi-millionaire.
How do you do that?
Sticky finger Harry. That's what I call him. Anyhow, it's universal. Lyndon Johnson was only a school teacher, then in public office. So figure out how he become a tens of millions of dollars. It's just the way it goes. So, you know.
But wait a minute.
They don't represent.
That sounds corrupt.
It is corrupt.
So, but it's okay. That's just the way it goes.
Politics have been corrupt since man. All right, and then the big thing, though, what people have to understand. The biggest thing is look at our government today. You want to see how you should never run anything. Is never run it like a faculty from a university. This is a bunch of friggin' professors that just all sat and thought about something in a room and how the world should be. They don't have a friggin' clue. And so then you turn around and, you know, that matches up to, you know, what they're planning to do, their ideas of working men and women. And it's really kind of nuts. They, if you work, you're really not a good person, all right? You should really be, unless you're working for the government. And then when you think about that, they came out, there's 57,000 federal workers who are on vacation being paid because the other government workers who are supposed to rule on whether they should be fired or reprimanded, they're taking their time on that decision.
So you're saying 57,000 federal workers are on leave because they're being investigated?
It was in the Washington Post. So, you know, $1 billion here, $1 billion there. They don't give a damn. All you have to do is the lady that took the fifth, she's a government worker.
Talking about the IRS commissioner?
IRS lady.
Lois Lerner?
Lois Lerner. They turn around, pay her over $100,000. The guy that was sitting in there drinking the wine in the bathtub, or hot tub, you know, setting up the meeting in Vegas, they retire him out. You just look at what happens, and you have a bureaucracy that is in charge of itself, which means it's not in charge of anything. You can't pin anything on government workers.
That's a rather recent phenomena too. I mean, we watched the IRS commissioner, the gentleman whose name escapes me for the moment, sit in front of the United States Congress and basically tell them to pound salt when they were asking him questions.
You know, you talk about arrogant. They're so friggin' arrogant. They're untouchable. And for the people listening, if you want to know what happened, if you go back to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and this is in the heyday of unionization, he stated public workers cannot be unionized because the elected servants is who they're going to be working for. So that doesn't work.
But they're all unionized.
They're all unionized, but what happened is back in the 40s, 30s, they came up with civil service. The civil service went through all the states, counties, everybody else. But truthfully, it was when the Kennedys came in and they started realizing that, you know, you can make some money, all those dues from all these workers.
Oh, sure.
So most people don't realize unionized federal workers or state, they cannot go and negotiate wages for them because that's illegal.
Right.
So the only thing they can do is negotiate working condition, working rules, everything. So the reason you got 57,000 federal workers who should be fired is because...
I mean, the ones on leave.
On the leave there, because they've turned around, and it's all the rules and regulation. And who enforces all those rules and regulations? Another bureaucracy. So it's just, you know, running around the friggin' mulberry bush, as they say.
Well,
and it's so stupid, but the main focus is because the dues. All those workers, they're being forced into paying dues.
Well, we see in Wisconsin where the governor fought the unions. He eliminated the requirement for teachers' unions, and the rolls, the actual membership of the teachers' unions is dropping like a stone.
He made it voluntary. You can be in a union. You don't have to be in a union. They have 90-some thousand, I think it was 92,000 Wisconsin.
You mean teachers? Yeah.
The teachers and the state employees. Mm-hmm. And it's already down to like 55,000.
And dropping.
Listen,
if you have a question for Morry the Grizz Taylor, don't forget to call us at 855-98-GRIZZ, G-R-I-Z-Z. That's 855-984-7499. Morry, we're coming up on an election here, and we're going to go on a commercial break here in a moment, but there's a lot of things that are not happening because the president is waiting to see if the Democrats are actually reelected to control the United States Senate. Do you expect there's going to be some really bad things coming down the pike after Election Day?
Well, you know the sun's going to come up. Yes, okay. I mean, they're so idiotic. It's been in the paper. They've already ordered the paper to be able to process up to, I think it's 30-some million green cards. So, yeah, he's going to turn around, and the president can grant amnesty. So, after the election, they're going to do it. And it's a total situation of where they're leading this country.
No, you're right. We're going to be right back to talk about Obama's secret post-election immigration plans, the things we don't know he's going to do, and he's about to set to do it. Election Day is just a couple of weeks away. So give us a call at 855-98-GRIZZ if you got a question for Morry the Grizz Taylor, and we're going to be right back after these messages.
The Grizz.
Mark Andel, owner of the Made in America store. Together we can help grow our economy and create jobs for Americans by buying products made right here in the United States. Visit MadeInAmericaStore.com, featuring thousands of 100% American-made products from all American materials and labor. They are the highest quality products available. We've inspired a Buy American movement that is creating and saving American jobs every day and keeping our money here instead of sending it overseas. So are you tired of lip service? Let our government know what really matters to the American people. Creating jobs matters. Manufacturing matters. Made in America matters. After 4 years in business and countless jobs created through our 400-plus suppliers, we've built a simple working model to strengthen our economy. It's a proven fact. Made in America matters because China is a long drive to work. Shop online at MadeInAmericaStore.com or connect with us on Facebook.
Soon this little baby I'm singing to sleep will start to walk. Before I know it, I'll be dropping her off at school, beaming when she walks up to accept her diploma, or holding back tears as she takes those big steps down the aisle. But before she takes all those steps, she and thousands like her will need you to take yours. Join March for Babies to help make her steps possible. Start your team today at marchforbabies.org.
Hi, I'm Julie Bowen, asking you to walk with me in March for Babies. Too many children in our country are being born prematurely or with birth defects. They have to fight to survive every day, but you can make a difference. Your steps in March for Babies can help them take their first steps. Visit marchforbabies.org to start your team and raise money to ensure that babies are born healthy. Let's walk together for stronger, healthier babies.
Just got out of prison.
Uh-oh. GrizzNation is back. Now nobody in Washington is safe. Dial 855-98-GRIZZ to join the conversation. Now here's Morry Taylor, the Grizz.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to GrizzNation. This is Michael Caputo here, sitting in our makeshift Naples studio, the annual meeting of Titan International. And with us today is Morry the Grizz Taylor, the CEO of Titan International. Grizz.
Well, wait a minute. We got to correct. We don't have an annual meeting. We have our best dealers in the tire business for farm and OTR who are sitting in the audience come down to visit with us. And you just call it a meeting. It's a big deal.
I never should have said that.
These are bad dudes. These are a lot. Your listeners should know that 90% of these people are entrepreneurs, built their business, go out and bust their fannies every day, and end up paying one tremendous amount of taxes. And it's a shame they're getting the leadership and from their own government the way they are. It's a shame what the Democrats are doing.
Well, actually, the people who come to your annual party, let's say, the people who come to your annual party, they're actually a classic American small businessmen and women, right? Right in the sweet spot where the size of companies where the vast majority of Americans are employed, the small business. And what are you hearing from these people that you work with in these dealerships? I mean, are they having trouble with, for example, Obamacare?
Well, all of them have problems because they are small business, and it depends on where they're located. They have problems not only with the feds. Everybody has problems with the bureaucracy of the federal government. And then they have the problems with the bureaucracy of the state. And if you got someone like sitting in the audience, you got, Chicago. Hell, it's almost like the handout city, I mean, Chicago, we've got the federal government running around worried about who won't be able to vote, this or that, with a pictured ID. Of course, they find out the polling machines in Chicago, you pull a Republican label, it racks up for the Democrats.
There's a shock, huh? In Chicago, of all places.
Chicago.
If you got a question for the Grizz, don't forget to call us at 855-984-7499. That's 855-98-GRIZZ. We're here on the Grizz Nation.
About the dead, up in Chicago.
Right. Well, they vote, so they can't be dead.
Yeah, so they're the walking dead. That's on TV. You see?
Well,
you
Charles,
get to see it.
We were talking about small businesses, and we've seen a lot of action working. They're working over McDonald's pretty good right now. They're going after them for all kinds of ways. And Charles from Alpharetta, Georgia, writes in, unions have made McDonald's a target of their effort for a $15 an hour minimum wage. I read recently that McDonald's response is to begin automating ordering and payment at their stores. What don't the liberals get about higher minimum wages, meaning fewer jobs, Morry?
Well, because most of those liberals do not start a business. A lot of them are already getting a federal check, or a lot of them are sitting in the student or the teacher's lounge, and they're just talking about all this stuff. They got nothing else to do. And then the next thing, of course, it could be some guy wants a promotion at the Labor Department. And so if you started this, think of how many new inspections he would have, how many more you'd hire at the IRS. It just goes on, and on. And it is kind of a shame, but if you look back the last 20 years, everybody turns around and you try to understand the problems the middle class is having, not only getting better paying jobs, keeping the jobs. And sometimes you got the mother and the father both working. I call everybody's attention to one thing. You think back in the last 20 years, there's one country, there's a couple of them, but the one major country that has moved up has been China. Look at all the multimillionaires. Now you go back 20, there's a few billionaires, but mostly in the millionaires. You go to China and say, okay, what caused this? How did this happen? Well, folks, it happened real simple. The name is Bill and Hillary Baba. They're the ones who turned around, and the president gave favored nation. When that was favored nation, it opened up our borders to all the goods coming in. So you have seen it don't happen overnight. It takes years. Manufacturing just starts moving away, chasing the cheap dollar, because what they're going to do is you got big companies that sit there and think, oh, we are going to sell. There's 1.1 billion of them, and we're going to sell them. That's pure BS, okay? Because as soon as they get the stuff and know how to make it and get a little bit of cash, they shut their border and just keep shipping here. And we got the dumbest politicians in the world, bar none. And that's what you're seeing. And it's the whole process. Who's busting into all of our computers? Who's doing all the hacking? Just stop and think about it. And yet we're going away. And they say, oh, well, we can trade with them. No, you can't. Look at the farmers. Farmers this year are going to have a record corn and soybean crop. Price of corn is down to like $3 and change. Soybeans is down around $9. But corn in China is $13 a bushel. They got 500 million farmers. So you think about that, and they're not letting our corn in. And they grew so much corn in China, they have 150 million metric ton of corn because they're paying their farmer 13-something. So now what do? They're dumping it onto the world market, and they'll dump it less than ours. So
it doesn't sound like a very sustainable business model.
It is, as long as you got the U.S. and you can keep bringing us down, and then look what they're going to do. You're going to bring in and give amnesty to 9 million illegals? You know what I don't understand? Why you have to give them amnesty? Yeah, I understand you got this many in here and they're here illegal. So you turn around and you say, hey, you're never going to be voters. You're never going to be legal. But, you know, you give them a temporary visa for what they're doing until you can sort through who the crooks are. You look at all the crooks coming in. You look at, I mean, it's so dumb. You want to close the border between Mexico and the U.S., we can do it in 6 weeks. And how would we do it in 6 weeks? It's simple. They either close the border in 6 weeks or we shut down all the trucks coming across with all the cars.
I mean, from Mexico.
Yep, coming up. That, you know, you want to see how fast you shut that? They shut that border down. Mexicans, you know, they'd line their troops all the way across.
Well, we have actually, I want to take a caller here. We got a full load of callers, actually, Morry. Melba from Florida. You're on the air. You there, Melba?
Yes.
Hi, Melba. Thanks
Hi,
for holding
Melba.
on. You're on the air with Morry Taylor, the Grizz.
All right. Hi, Morry.
Hi, dear.
I just am really concerned about this Ebola situation and wanted to get your thoughts on the latest announcements by the governors of New York and New Jersey about this quarantine of people coming over, but there's just a quarantine of medical workers. It's not a quarantine of anybody else, is my understanding. So I wanted to see what your thoughts were on that.
Well, I would like to say, what in the hell you expect? I mean, they turn around and New York's Democratic state, our government right now is in charge, is running a bunch of Democrats. You're in Florida. I mean, my gosh, you got a governor's race. You got a guy named Charlie Crist. He's anything and everything, folks. He's, you know, one side, the other side, up, down, around. And you might decide to throw him back in. It gets down to simple things, my dear. You got to start electing people who, men or women, who do not look so pretty, do not talk pretty, do not smile, and do not promise you everything. You better get people in there.
No more. You're talking about politics.
Yeah, just sit and listen. I'm talking about people who get the damn job done. They should have put an embargo on there. They had to have a professors meeting in the lounge and decide, what should we do? They have no friggin' idea what to do. We've elected people to office that are clueless. You know what the word clueless means, and that's where they're at.
I've got a dictionary here just in case.
Yeah, look it up. And it is very, very pathetic. I have to laugh. Even Governor Christie, he's a lawyer. He's one I do think's pretty decent. But, they start taking him to contrast because he tells it short. Well, what's wrong with telling it short? What
do you mean? He tells it like it is?
Well, he gets right to the point.
Right.
Certain things are stupid, okay? When you're fooling around, this Ebola's been around for years and years. It becomes an outbreak. It comes out of Africa, So they run around. It's interesting that people should be really ticked off is that look at how many millions and millions of dollars of supplies we just found out aren't any good.
Right. Well, we're going to be right back after these commercial messages with Morry Taylor, the Grizz, CEO of Titan International. Hold on. Come right back. And callers, hold on. We'll be right with you. We know we got a full slate of callers here. We'll be right back on the GrizzNation.
The Grizz.
Mark Andel, owner of the Made in America store. Together we can help grow our economy and create jobs for Americans by buying products made right here in the United States. Visit MadeInAmericaStore.com, featuring thousands of 100% American-made products from all American materials and labor. They are the highest quality products available. We've inspired a Buy American movement that is creating and saving American jobs every day and keeping our money here instead of sending it overseas. So are you tired of lip service? Let our government know what really matters to the American people. Creating jobs matters. Manufacturing matters. Made in America matters. After 4 years in business and countless jobs created through our 400-plus suppliers, we've built a simple working model to strengthen our economy. It's a proving fact. Made in America matters because China is a long drive to work. Shop online at MadeInAmericaStore.com or connect with us on Facebook.
More than half of U.S. children and adults have never received music education, although 68% think it's important, according to a new poll commissioned by Primrose Schools. Early, consistent exposure to music has been found to support music, language development, motor coordination, social skills, and learning. Visit justaskaprimrosemom.com to hear what moms are saying about Primrose Schools' new partnership with the Music Class, an international early childhood music education company.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Ovaltine. Give your kids the nutrition they need to be their best. Visit us at ovaltineusa.com. Telling your child about healthy food choices is important, but showing her what to eat goes a lot further. Have her help create the grocery list, then bring her to the store with you. Picking out healthy foods together helps kids get in the habit of thinking about what they're eating every day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Welcome back to Grizz Nation. Think it's bad now? You ain't seen nothing yet. Just dial 855-98-GRIZZ to ask the Grizz.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Grizz Nation. You'll hear us every Saturday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm sitting here with the Chief Executive Officer of Titan International, Morry the Grizz Taylor. Let's go right to the phones, Morry. We've got a whole load of phones here. Lisa in California, you've got a question for the Grizz.
Hi, yeah.
Hi,
I love
Lisa.
live streaming stuff, by the way.
Great.
Morry, I wanted to know what you think of Dr. Ben Carson.
Well, first of all, I think he's a great American. I think that it makes no difference what your political philosophy is. The man is quite an outstanding gentleman. I think the history of, the poverty and what his mother did, you talk about saints. His mother was an obvious great woman. I like him. I don't know anybody who couldn't. I mean, he's smart. He's a real good man. If you're asking me from the politics side, there's a lot of smart people. There's a lot of people that make so much sense. But the problem is, you got to be able to manage. And manage is not a nice job. It's not a job that you want to be loved. You want to be respected. You want to do the job and get the job done, if that's what you're asking me.
Well, listen, we actually have a full load of callers here, Morry, but I have one question from the internet from Harold Simons in Los Angeles, California. Morry, you're from Michigan. Do you have a prediction on the Michigan governor's race? It sounds like it's going to be a really close one.
I don't know if it's going to be that close, but I do know that, it just mystifies me that the election would even be as close as it is. Because, you see, we had all these years with Granholm, who now, by the way, is out in your state. She's a professor. She didn't do a damn thing in her lifetime either of real accomplishment except smile pretty, get on TV, and tell you a bunch of BS. So she left the state. She left the state in a big mess. And, of course, the Cohart, who was the Speaker of the House, I believe it was, is the guy that's on the Democrat side running for governor. And they had a debate, and even the most liberal paper, the Free Press, had to say, oh, he talks so good. He understands all the problems, but he never had one solution. His solution is we keep studying it. His solution is, well, we need more government. We need more government. Hey, Snyder, one-on-one, is a great, interesting fellow, but let's be honest. He's an accountant, and he really doesn't like glad-handing. He really doesn't like campaigning. He prefers to sit down with a group of experts and look at it. Okay, how are we going to do this? We got to get that. And he's balanced the budget. He's put a rainy day fund in. The jobs are coming. Oh, by the way, he turned around and he passed a workers' bill of rights. If you don't want to join the union, you do not have to.
Well, that's why he's being
or
targeted.
pay dues. Right? You know? Yeah, but like he says, it's a workers gives a right.
All right.
Well, man, that's the most evilest thing in the world, you know? So it is a
but what's your
but
prediction?
he's going to win.
Who, Snyder's going to win?
Sure. Because the boys in Michigan, you know, they drive around the streets of Detroit, and they've got to go find them all, to hustle them in to vote, give them some cigarettes, give them some, you know, booze. But I think we're going to have a warm day, so they won't find them.
Well, listen, we're going to go back to the callers, but I want to remind you that if you have a question, listener, for Morry the Grizz Taylor, you can call us at 855-984-7499. That's 855-98-GRIZZ with 2 Z's. Now, let's go right to Harold in California. You're on the line, Harold. You got a question for the Grizz?
Can you hear me, Mr. Grizz?
Yeah, I can hear you, Harold from Santa Barbara.
I'm in Hancock Park, sir.
Oh, Hancock
I
Park.
have two questions. They're both related. One is, have you ever met Hillary Clinton in person? Because it seems like right now she might be the next president. And number two, you sound great. Why don't you run again?
Well, the first thing is that, isn't it odd? What the hell? We're getting all these people want to move out of California. You notice that? We're getting all the questions from all
come on, you know Hillary. What do you think of her?
Hillary, you know.
She says such nice things about you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hillary and Bill have had this power team relationship for a long, long time. They sure to hell, yeah, legally they're married, but And Hillary's
what do you mean
a
by
power seeker. Well,
wait a minute. I want to stop you. What do you mean by
There ain't been a lot of love making between that couple, I can tell you that. Anyhow, she is farther left than the president. What you see with Hillary is strictly fake. She's going to tell you anything you want to hear, or she'll move one side to the other. And when you push her, her first thing, she's been coached, well, why does that matter? Because 4 guys are dead, okay? You want to solve any war, always remember, take 1/3 of the Senate, take 1/3 of the House, take 1/3 of the executive presidential appointments, and you send them to the front of the lines. Could you see her, out in the front, she'd get nailed right in the cheeks, okay, because she wouldn't bend down far enough. But that's what you got to do. I think she should go raise her granddaughter. That's what I think she should do. And just get the hell out of politics, And all these people who think that, oh, she's so smart, she's never run a damn thing. Everybody thinks the Obamacare is bad, hers would have been 10 times worse.
Yeah, much worse, much worse.
And when you get on talking about Obamacare, I just have to say to everybody, all you got to do is look at the VA. The government can't run the damn VA. And who deserves better than our soldiers? So then what you should do, take the VA, call it like it is. It's a bureaucratic mess. So do away and put it back into the military. Put the military in charge. They don't have problems because you go under the military code. So you don't have to go sit there and, we got the rules and regs of our... No, we got a military code. Your ass is going to the brig. So at least we get service and everything to
Well,
it.
you're missing one question the caller had.
Yeah.
He asked why you're not running again.
Because I'm too old, and my wife would plug me. She would give me a bullet between the eyes. Okay?
All right, we're going to put one quick question from the internet before we go on commercial break here.
And
Dick,
she's Irish, too, You never know about those Irish girls.
Dick from Edmonds, California. I just saw a piece on Air Force One, and it's costing taxpayers $180,000 an hour to fly Obama to Democrat fundraisers and $4 million for he and his family to go on each Hawaiian vacation. I'm sure it's not just his presidency, but how do we stop the taxpayers from shelling out millions for personal vacations and political fundraisers? He's right. Both sides do it.
Yeah, you're 100% right, but you're missing the big picture. You see, you got a president, and he's not the only one, but remember, you ran for the job. You ran for the job. So you take an oath. All of them do. Every congressman, all. Sometimes you have to wonder if they ever did read the damn Constitution. But, the reason it costs so much is because you got to have all the protection and everything. But you ever notice that wherever they travel, it's all announced. It's going to be a big show. The whole thing is all politics. You can go jump in a plane and fly any place. When you land, call up a couple reporters, and then they can report everything. You don't have to worry about somebody blowing you up because they didn't know you were there. But you're not going to have the big crowds. And when you talk about a president, when they travel, go to New York. President plane flies in, everything's shut down. Go to Chicago. We're even doing it for the vice president. And the next thing is, our current president, he decided that a lady by the name of Valerie Jarrett should have Secret Service. And she's just a political appointee as an advisor.
Right.
And what are you, the echo chamber, like amen? Huh?
You got it. Amen, brother. Amen,
Okay.
Morry. Amen.
All right. And what you got to do is American public, you don't get mad enough to do some protesting. You watch the Tea Party, and contrary to anybody wants, it was all kind of races. Every nationality was in it. Democrats, independents, everything. God bless them. The papers hated it, but that's how it goes. And when you really get mad out there in the public, things get done.
You think
or
people
they
aren't
change.
mad enough yet? People aren't mad enough?
No, people aren't mad. Hey, you turn around, it's just nuts when you go out there and see what's actually going on. And
well, we're going to be right back here on Grizz Nation. Don't forget to call in with your questions for the Grizz. 855-98-GRIZZ. And we'll be right back.
The Grizz.
Mark Andel, owner of the Made in America store. Together we can help grow our economy and create jobs for Americans by buying products made right here in the United States. Visit MadeInAmericaStore.com, featuring thousands of 100% American-made products from all American materials and labor. They are the highest quality products available. We've inspired a Buy American movement that is creating and saving American jobs every day and keeping our money here instead of sending it overseas. So are you tired of lip service? Let our government know what really matters to the American people. Creating jobs matters. Manufacturing matters. Made in America matters. After 4 years in business and countless jobs created through our 400-plus suppliers, we've built a simple working model to strengthen our economy. It's a proving fact. Made in America matters because China is a long drive to work. Shop online at MadeInAmericaStore.com or connect with us on Facebook.
No need to run around anymore searching for auto parts. At PartsMatrix.com, we do all the legwork for you, saving you time and money. And it couldn't be easier. When you send a request using our simple, secure online form, we get right to work searching our network to find OEM parts, aftermarket, refurbished parts and accessories, recycled auto parts, and more. We get back to you in a jiffy with the pricing and shipping options, too. Check out our website, PartsMatrix.com, for all the best parts at the best prices. PartsMatrix.com. Save money, drive happy.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nesquik. Try Nesquik 4-packs, perfect for lunches and great for kids on the go. Look for it in the juice aisle. Snack time is a great chance to sneak extra calcium into your child's diet without making him feel like he's eating something he doesn't want. Serve up dairy-rich foods like smoothies, flavored milk, frozen yogurt, and string cheese. He'll love the treat, and you'll love knowing how good it is for him. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Welcome back to GrizzNation. Scrape that Washington off your shoes, pull up a chair, and dial 855-98-GRIZZ to join the conversation with the Grizz.
We're back here on GrizzNation. Michael Caputo here with Morry the Grizz Taylor, Chief Executive Officer of Titan International. Morry, let's get right into the questions we've got here on from the internet. But first, if you have a question for the Grizz, dial 855-98-GRIZZ. That's 855-984-7499. But we have a question on the internet, Morry, from Amy in Palm Springs. Who do you think will replace the master of corruption, Eric Holder? Do you think he will ever be brought to justice, or will he eventually have immunity forever?
Well, if anybody thought about anything, I imagine when the president leaves office, he'll give a blanket immunity to everybody. So,
but who's going to replace him? Who's going to replace Holder? I mean, we know the president's holding off on that until after the election.
Well, I have no idea, and
it can be worse than Holder, better.
Well, I think what they're going to do is election is next week. If they do lose, and if his, he's the only one that really knows who he's going to appoint, and if that person is, which is more than likely going to be way out on the other end, then I just think he'll ram it through while he's still got the Senate. And, Harry Reid's already done it to 51. I sure hope the Republicans win it, that they turn around and they just put it right back to him,
Oh, you mean like filibuster the appointment?
Every damn thing. In fact, you remember when they went all nuts about when the Republicans had it, that they were going to do the nuclear option and, bunch of wusses. They didn't do it. Democrats will. Democrats don't give a damn.
No, they don't. I'll tell you, politicians don't give a damn, right? I mean, in the end.
They're all the same. Orrin Hatch is supposed to be a big-time conservative. His best buddy was Teddy Kennedy. It don't even make sense, folks, So, like we just said earlier, the whole thing is a fake. And it's really odd. People think that they all want you to go out and vote. You know how many they say, get your vote out, everything else? They don't want you to vote. They only want you to vote if you're going to vote for them. If you're going to vote against them, they don't want you out there. And so when you think about it, think about this. If your company you work for said to you, we'll give you the day off, but you got to vote. So you get paid a free day to go vote. But you got to bring in that little receipt, you know. It's no different than they show everybody with the purple thumb, the purple whatever finger. You see, almost 20 years ago, I offered to do that in Quincy, Illinois. We had about 1,000 employees. When it got all national publicity, the feds notified us. I do it. The fine was $10,000 per employee. Even though you don't tell them to vote for this person or vote for that person, in the Fed law, because you had to make it for they voted, then that is a criminal offense.
Well, I'm glad you didn't go to jail, Morry. That would make this show very boring.
No, I think it pretty no, we'd be out by now.
Well, compulsory voting is actually, it's illegal not to vote in 11 countries, including Argentina, Australia, places like Peru, Singapore. You think it should be compulsory that we vote here in the United States?
Well, it should be compulsory or you pay a fine.
Right.
So when you do your IRS form, if you didn't vote and your income was up to, let's just say, 20 grand, you're automatically fined $100. If you're from 20 up to 50, you're fined $150. If you're over 100 grand, I'm going to charge you $1,000. If you're over 500, I'm going to charge you $5. If you're over $1 million, I'm going to charge you $50,000.
So if you were president today, you would make that law.
Hell yeah, because it's part of being a country. You turn around, you don't vote, then you can't bitch, you know? And I know he bitches all the time. If he didn't vote, he'd still bitch, okay? But I think he votes. But you have to have some skin in the game. And everybody should pay taxes. Everybody. I don't care if you only do $100. You see, if you cheat on your taxes and they catch you, you go to jail. But if you don't do a tax because you wouldn't owe any money anyhow, because you got all this other, you never can go to jail. And that's not right. We want equal justice for all. So if you make money, you got to pay something. Even if it's a little bit.
Right, well, Morry, we have a question, a very interesting question from Mark in Minneapolis, Minnesota. At a dinner gathering last night, a guest said to me, we all agree on 90% of everything to the left and to the right, but we all fight like crazy about the other 10%. Do you think that's true?
That would only be set up in Minnesota. How else could you have a Senator Franklin? They got two of the wackiest senators of any. They're Democrats. You tell me how you would put them. I tell you right now, all these tire dealers down here, they wouldn't hire either one of those two people. No. Why don't you put it into if you would hire the person? How many of you would hire Dirty Harry? Nobody would. You know, Nancy, give me a break. She'd spend all of her time in the makeup, so she'd never get there for work. And you look at, Franklin, Jesus, I mean, it's a joke. Well,
in fact, he is a comedian, so it would be consistent.
Yeah, it's consistent. I think they're a little bit cynical up there in Minnesota. They thought they'd pull a fast one on the rest of us and send some, wacko in there, and they did. But hey, that wacko, the joke's on the boys in Minnesota, because they're going to pay a lot of money.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the taxes and what they're going to get from everything else. Hell.
Right. Peter S. from Austin, Texas asks, speaking of money, what wins political elections, money or knowledge?
I don't think either one. I think the candidate that stands up and smiles, whatever he wishes. I mean, hey, you look at the candidates and how they appear. What are the comments from the commentators? Oh, so nice. Oh, so smart. Oh, geez, they're so big. Chris Matthews got a chill in his leg. Give me a break, okay? So, but in the real world, if you figure out what you're trying to do, it's like a doctor. You have a doctor that can just talk, and he just smiles and everything else. He holds your hand, or he combs just everything else. And he's scared, and he's got to do your open heart, and he's scared of blood. You're in deep dodo, folks. You're in real deep trouble, okay? I'd rather take a grouchy old son of a bee that you got a Chinaman's chance of surviving. And,
So you think it's not money, it's not good ideas, but you think it's somebody who stands up, smiles, does the right things, and is able to attract votes just through superficial stuff.
Yeah. I know it sounds stupid, but,
Well,
my grandmother, she, like Soapy Williams, oh, he looks so cute in that bow tie, That's why she voted for him. It's.
I got a quick question for you from the internet before we go on our commercial break here. It's a Titan question, actually. James Reddington of Buffalo, New York asks, as a tire titan, who or what company has bought lobbyists to keep foreign tire manufacturers unfairly in the USA tire market? I think Titan is a great product made in America. Now, we just got a minute or two more. You got to answer to that. Who's lobbying to make that happen?
If the question is who went after the Chinese?
No, he's like, how did that happen? Why did the Chinese even? I guess you mentioned Clinton, but we also have this whole free trade.
There is the only thing that's free is our borders are open, folks. They're open for goods. They're open for, whoever wants to come across, whatever terrorists or whatever else, because that's just the way the political donut works. You say, well, why? Well, folks, there's 40,000 lobbyists in Washington. You think about how that has grown. Now, they want to make money. They don't know how to do anything else. So you got to be like the Chinese. They have government-owned factories. There's no company in the world that can compete against a government-owned factory. It's impossible, folks. But what happens is you turn around, you got to go to Washington, you got to hire a lawyer. And it's nuts. Even again, though the law's there, the bureaucracy don't know what to do, and they're not going to do anything. So you turn around, you hire a lawyer. We sued, and we got duties put on them by the law because they were breaking the law. And they had them on for about 3-4 years. And then some smart guy says, oh, we're going to put a wheel in it. Now, a wheel doesn't even
That's
cost
no longer
close.
a tire.
So it's an assembly. So where's this BS coming from? Oh, the government tells you, well, it's a different have a classification. You got to sue again. So you got to go pay the lawyers again.
Well, we're going to be right back here on Grizz Nation. Don't miss it. We'll be right back after these messages.
Mark Andel, owner of the Made in America store. Together we can help grow our economy and create jobs for Americans by buying products made right here in the United States. Visit madeinamericastore.com, featuring thousands of 100% American-made products from all American materials and labor. They are the highest quality products available. We've inspired a Buy American movement that is creating and saving American jobs every day and keeping our money here instead of sending it overseas. So are you tired of lip service? Let our government know what really matters to the American people. Creating jobs matters. Manufacturing matters. Made in America matters. After 4 years in business and countless jobs created through our 400-plus suppliers, we've built a simple working model to strengthen our economy. It's a proving fact. Made in America matters because China is a long drive to work. Shop online at madeinamericastore.com or connect with us on Facebook.
Nothing is more important than your family security. But ask yourself, if you died today, would your family be able to keep their home? Will your children get a college education? If the needle points towards no, you need to protect your family with life insurance. You can make up for your lost income, fund your child's education, pay a mortgage, taxes, and more. Learn about life insurance. Get your consumer protection guide free from the Center for Sound Consumer Advice. Still the only consumer advocacy referral service in America, where since 2004 there has never been a fee or charge of any kind to consumers. And best of all, never ever one complaint. Call today for your free life insurance guide. 800-819-6545. That's 800-819-6545. Call today for your free life insurance guide. Again, that's 800-819-6545.
Hi, I'm Olympic gold medalist Shawn Johnson. I want to make sure you know about the March of Dimes, March for Babies. This walk is really special to me. I was born with an APGAR score of 0, which is not an ideal way to start. Every day, babies start life the same way, with the odds stacked against them. Their first steps are made possible by ours, all of ours. Take the first step at marchforbabies.org. Let's walk together for stronger, healthier babies.
Soon this little baby I'm singing to sleep will start to walk. Before I know it, I'll be dropping her off at school, beaming when she walks up to accept her diploma, or holding back tears as she takes those big steps down the aisle. But before she takes all those steps, she and thousands like her will need you to take yours. Join March for Babies to help make her steps possible. Start your team today at marchforbabies.org.
Listen, if you're considering buying hardwood flooring, don't do anything until you've written down this number and received your free Lumber Liquidators catalog.
The flooring with high quality with an unbeatable price tag.
Call in the next 10 minutes to get your free catalog.
What I bought at Lumber Liquidators is of vastly higher quality than flooring I had installed 6 years ago, and for a fraction of the cost.
So if you want great hardwood flooring at unbeatable prices, trust Lumber Liquidators. We buy direct from the mills. Call right now to get our flooring guide and catalog absolutely free. It's filled with top-quality hardwood flooring, including solid hardwoods, laminates, and bamboos, and even Bellawood pre-finished flooring with a 100-year transferable warranty. The same floor Bob Vila has in his home. This free catalog is full of tips, ideas, and our flooring project list to make your buying decisions easy. Hurry, call right now to get a copy of this free guide and catalog. Call 800-542-0203 to get your free copy now. 800-542-0203. 800-542-0203.
You're on with GrizzNation with CEO Morry the Grizz Taylor. Talk radio heavy on America and no bull. Forget the politicians. Here's the Grizz.
And we're back here on GrizzNation. This is Michael Caputo sitting here in our makeshift Naples studio, Naples, Florida, with Morry the Grizz Taylor, Chief Executive Officer of Titan International. Morry, you've got I'm not going to call it a meeting. Let's call it a big party, a nice golf game, whatever. You've got a whole bunch of your tire dealerships that sell your product here in Naples for an annual get-together. It was an interesting conversation during the commercial break about the impact of Obamacare on one of the dealerships that you work with.
Well, the first thing is these are all independent dealers. As we mentioned earlier, They're entrepreneurs. Now, a lot of these dealers turn around and they've built their business up. You know, I love Obama when he says, you didn't build it. Well, these guys did build it, okay? And it's a tough business. And they built it up, and they gave us that break, one of them, to show what happens. This dealership, you know, he falls in well over the 30 employees, but he's under the 100. His insurance last year for his current employees was $239,000. This is health insurance, which, you know, a family policy, that's $19,000 a year. Now, because of Obamacare and what their policy, what the policy has to be and everything, his premium, total premium, jumps over 100% to $448,000. That's up to over $40,000 per family. Now, that's trying to keep it in the range of what they had before. So the only way he's going to be able to get that damn thing down is if he changes his deductibles or he drops from the health program they had before and just whittles it all down.
No, you're right.
And they say that they're going to help. They ain't going to do any help. I mean, it is so nuts what they're trying to do. If you
Grizz,
wanted to turn around with the health care, you go out, and what's the joke is, and the stupidity of this is this. Every state has their state insurance office. They have their state health department. So what people have to understand is that the states are the ones who turned around and wouldn't let XYZ or insurance company in. So we've had this problem for a long time. So what you have to do is, under the Commerce Clause, you turn around, and what do the Americans want? If you got health insurance, you don't, and you change jobs, you don't want to lose your health insurance. The same thing is true if you turn around and you had a pre-existing, and, you know, try to keep your kids on your policy. What is the law now, 26? You take those three things, and then you turn around. If you want to do it right, it's real simple. You just say, okay, you turn around, you have 5 plans. One brings you flowers every day. One brings you chocolates every day. But you get down to the basic. Now, the biggest cost in any insurance policy, you check it out, it's the new drug policy. Only Obama would come up with a drug policy, so, and no cap. So, and mental illness. So you know how that's going to be ripped off? You know, and who the hell are you helping with that? We have one in ours, but you only go once. If you're an alcoholic, you go once. Second time, it's on you, and you're fired. So, I mean, but what happens to you today is you got to get it down and the deductibles, and you got to be able to carry it back.
But what about portability? I mean,
yeah, you go any place you want to it.
Because
you
right
got to
now,
get the freaking states out. You had New York. You know, if you don't want maternity, why should you be paying for it? You know, and you got to get it so it crosses the borders, and that's the only way.
But how can a company sustain almost doubling their health care expenses? How can you sustain? How can you plan for that?
Well, the first thing is you turn around. Something's got to give, and you're going to get enough people ticked off that they're going to start going around and raising hell. Okay. I'll tell you what.
But they're not mad enough yet.
They're not mad enough yet. You know, you remember how they all loved Clinton with his soccer mums? You know, I feel your pain. He ain't felt nobody's pain, love. Hillary, oh, we were broke. We were dead broke. That's why I had to steal.
He sounds just like Hillary, doesn't he?
I had to steal all that damn, dishes and all the silverware.
But don't forget, if
that $8 million that I got. Don't tell nobody. I hid that from Billy. Okay.
All right. If you got a question for Morry Taylor of the Grizz, give us a call at 855-984-7499. That's 855-98-GRIZZ with 2 Z's. Now, we have a lot of questions on the internet right now, Morry. One in particular. Lots of people are talking about genetically modified seeds owned by one company who would eventually control the world population because they control the food source. How do we stop that from actually happening?
Now, are you telling me there's somebody's got a genetically modified seed that is going to control the world population? Are you talking sex or are you talking plants?
We're talking plants. In fact, I think we're talking Monsanto.
Well, who gives a damn about... Hell, they're screwing with the plants, making it better. I don't really give a damn.
What she's saying is that there are a lot of people who don't like that, and they think it's a conspiracy.
But that ain't how you asked the question.
That's how she asked.
No, you are going to control the population of the
I think
world.
she's insinuating that...
If you're going to control the population, I mean that they're going to generic modify a seed that you're going to eat, and you've just been neutered, just like a chemical castration.
I think that's what she's talking about. I think that's what she's talking about.
You think that's what she's talking about?
I think it is.
That's what she's talking about. Well, I don't know
All
about
right,
that.
Jeff from Boston writes in and he asks, it looks like you were right about Hillary. First, we have Obama saying business people didn't create their business. Now Hillary was in Boston last night and said, don't let anybody tell you it's corporations and businesses that create jobs. Just who the hell do these people think create jobs?
Oh, they do. Government does. We're going to take care of you. It's fairyland. Let's give you a pill. I had to come to work here this morning for this. This actually was our working day, okay?
So you guys actually did work here.
We did work this morning. And
For a
so
minute.
driving in, it was still dark out. So I had the radio on. I'm listening to two doctors, and they're talking about, how we're ranked 12th in the world in medicine. I would like those doctors to list those countries that they would rather go and live in for the medicine. But as they kept talking, they were quoting all these statistics about we kill ourselves with drugs. And last I checked, our country was founded not too, 300 years ago. And you turn around, when the Constitution was written, and they put in there, you got to be 25 to be a congressman, 30 to be a senator, 35 a president, of federal judges for life. Average expectancy for a male, 39 years. Well, Congress always wants to index everything. So they should have held it and indexed that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have. How can
So you're saying we should increase these age limits?
Hell yes. If you read your history on Congress, on our Constitution, our country, they didn't want anybody in Congress that had not gone out and worked. And here's another thing. This will shock a bunch of mothers. All the way up to the 1900s, nobody went to school past 8th grade. That's why if you're Jewish, you have the bar mitzvah, 13. You're a man. You go to work. Hell, you can't get kids to go to work if they're 26, so it's already doubled right there.
Well, we're going to be right back here on GrizzNation. Don't forget, give us a call and ask a question of the Grizz at 855-984-7499. That's 855-98-GRIZZ with 2 Z's, and we'll be right back.
The Grizz.
Hi, I'm Mark Mark Andel, owner of the Made in America store. Together we can help grow our economy and create jobs for Americans by buying products made right here in the United States. Visit MadeInAmericaStore.com, featuring thousands of 100% American-made products from all American materials and labor. They are the highest quality products available. We've inspired a Buy American movement that is creating and saving American jobs every day and keeping our money here instead of sending it overseas. So are you tired of lip service? Let our government know what really matters to the American people. Creating jobs matters. Manufacturing matters. Made in America matters. After 4 years in business and countless jobs created through our 400-plus suppliers, we've built a simple working model to strengthen our economy. It's a proving fact. Made in America matters because China is a long drive to work. Shop online at MadeInAmericaStore.com or connect with us on Facebook.
Testing. It works.
Hi, I'm Julie Bowen, asking you to walk with me in March for Babies. Too many children in our country are being born prematurely or with birth defects. They have to fight to survive every day, but you can make a difference. Your steps in March for Babies can help them take their first steps. Visit marchforbabies.org to start your team and raise money to ensure that babies are born healthy. Let's walk together for stronger, healthier babies.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You're listening to GrizzNation with Morry the Grizz Taylor. Dial 855-98-GRIZZ to join in on Common Sense Talk Radio, coming right at you in 3, 2, and 1.
And we're back here on GrizzNation. Thanks for joining us for the last 45 minutes of the show. We're on every Saturday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Michael Caputo, joined by Morry the Grizz Taylor, Chief Executive Officer of Titan International Tires. And we have a question. Benji, you're one of the dealers attending the event this week. You got a question for Morry?
Yes, just a kind of a pet peeve of mine, and I just want to know your opinion. The tendency of our great leaders in Washington for many years now, many decades, has been to make public service a profession. I thought that public service was intended for them to come and do their public service and then go to hell home.
Yeah, well, it's a pet peeve of yours and probably about 65% of the American public. What, you know, the thing that's wrong is, my question is, why, in reference to congressmen, we pay them way too much money? Why don't we just say, okay, every other month you come here, all right? And for that month, we'll pay them for that month. Then go back. What do? They're just having meetings, a good old time, you know? They're being entertained by 40,000 lobbyists. So, and for what? You got 535 egos, you know, sitting around. And so they all got to have staffs. We'd be better off keep them out of Washington. You really think about what they're doing. They have no clue, you know. And it's almost like I got real cranked up on the Supreme Court. You know, how do people interpret the Constitution? They don't read the damn thing. When our country was founded, 1776, you had the Constitutional Convention. There was 13 colonies. They had been incorporated or chartered in the 1600s. So now we've got this new thing they put together. And it was really quite obvious, I mean, unique what they did. They turned around, and of the 13 colonies, 12 of them had their own law of religion. All 13 for a long time did, but it was Rhode Island had dropped. The First Amendment to the Constitution is the federal government will have nothing to do with religion because they did never want the federal boys involved into religion. It was a state matter, and it all up to the new states. They wrote the damn thing. I don't care what religion anybody is, but it's got to be held by the state. If the state wants to do something, that's it. If you don't like the damn state, then either change it or move. I mean, Michigan has never had a death penalty. So we sit there and pay for some of the most terrible crimes. They even admit it. So we're keeping them in prison. And then you got some Fed judge that says, oh, my gosh, you can't keep them like that. You got to let them have some time outside, maybe educate them. What for? You know? I would do just like sometimes you travel, you get these little teeny rooms, you know, at the airport. It's got a little bunk bed, got a toilet, got a sink. What the hell you got to let them out of there? You know, before they start stinking the place up, then you just have a place you can put the fire hose with a big drain. That's what I do.
Speaking of stinking the place up, Morry, we've got a question from Leslie in Palm Beach, Florida. Monica Lewinsky is back in the news. Do you think there's any hope for her, Morry? What does someone like that do that was buried alive by the press and Hillary and has zero options to make a living for the rest of her life? What does she do, Morry?
Well, I think she's doing what she can now to make a little money. So, you know, Hillary really didn't mind what she did, so what the hell, really?
Well, I mean,
you know, Billy was, you know, what the hell? He's in the presidency smoking a cigar. I mean, he had no choice. I mean, she just cornered him. She was, you know, like, what was the movie? Fatal Attraction?
Right, yeah.
You know?
But Morry,
come on, give me a bud. You know, they just gonna cover it all up. So what the hell?
Well, remember, if you want to have a question for the Grizz, give us a call at 855-98-GRIZZ. That's 855-984-7499. Now, Morry, Monica Lewinsky is now she's working against internet bullying. She says she's been bullied and that she's going to be an advocate against internet bullying, and apparently that's how she's going to make her way and how to use her celebrity. Do you think that she should be out there, trying to do those good things after what she put this country through?
Oh, my gosh, you know, bullies. World's always had bullies. It's only now somebody's woken up that we got bullies. Bullies. Well, the first thing is, and the unions aren't going to like this, but folks, you should have small schools. They should go kindergarten to the high school, 500 max. Then you don't have to worry about the kids getting too bullied then, because you've got teachers there, everybody, you can take care of that problem. I mean, you know, you sound like the Russians, you know. You want to take them all away when the commies, they knew better. I mean, you're not going to stop. It's human nature, okay? You didn't get bullied when you were a kid?
Oh, I got bullied. I got locked in a locker. I did. I got locked in it, and the guy was a lot like you, actually.
That's why you got locked in the locker. You know, you probably deserved to get locked in the locker. Well, you were mouthing off.
But the great thing was, Morry, that he actually 30 years later ran for public office in my hometown, and I was able to make sure that he lost really badly. I got a little revenge. So there is an antidote to bullying. It's called revenge.
Well, I don't know about that. Was he better than the other guy?
Oh, no, by no means. No.
Okay, then I don't care he lost. But, no, it's, you see, kids in kindergarten, grade school look to the 8th graders. 8th graders look to the juniors and the seniors. Some reason, I always had a crush on women that were older than me. Okay? So I don't see anything wrong with, having, let the parents in the local community, this is all nuts going to study about everything. I mean, we're getting, the name of the program. We're not politically correct. So what the hell are we talking about a political subject? Okay?
We don't want to talk about politics.
Let her ask a question. Go ahead, Leah. This is live.
Okay. Well, thank you first for having us here this weekend, and I certainly have enjoyed it, and for letting us be here today.
And you notice she's got an accent?
It's hard to get away from. Southern.
Now, where's that from?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Hey! You guys make sure you vote. No disrespect to that lady, but she's wacko, okay? Yeah. She is really wacko. And, just go in and pull the friggin' lever. I don't care, but...
Tom Tillis.
Yeah.
But my question kind of leans toward, because I have 2 daughters who are in college, and I'm just wondering what seems like, it's my opinion, that when I've seen them being in the college atmosphere, that they have become a lot more liberal and tend to their conservative views that they've been brought up with have just been, really pushed to the side, and they feel like that they're really bad people, for feeling that way. So as a parent, what can we do to, just because we're conservative and have, our views, that we're not bad people? Because I think on the college campus, you're kind of taught that, you're not, if you can't agree with everybody and be for everything, then, that's not a good thing.
Well, I happen to agree with you, and I got grandkids out there. So you have to take, and it's not going to just change by just you. It takes mass and mass. What's really wrong is, think about this. You had Bill Ayers, that was on Fox. If you ever remember the weather, what were they called? The Weather Underground, something like that. So, him and his wife got off for murder on a technicality, okay? So, where do they work? Universities. Every simple wacko out there that should be in jail, they give them jobs, and then they give them tenure. Look at that crazy wacko who kept saying he was, what the hell was his name? Saying he was Indian heritage. He wasn't Indian heritage. They proved it wasn't. He's writing a book now, so he's on a book tour. It is stupid. First thing is do away with tender. Teacher tender, university. And I think that you should tell your daughters, God bless them, hang in there, or else transfer to another university and just leave a note for them. Not paying you jerks, and tell them the truth. I went to school at Michigan Tech. It's an engineering school. And the dean of the mechanical engineering department, like I tell them, I don't waste any time telling them. I says, if you want a job, then you got to go someplace where they're going to train you. And if you stop and think about it, what we teach in 4 years in college, back when you were younger, they taught that in 2.
Well, we're going to take that topic up when we come back here on Grizz Nation. Don't forget to give us a call at 855-984-7499 with your questions for the Grizz.
The Grizz.
Mark Andel, owner of the Made in America store. Together we can help grow our economy and create jobs for Americans by buying products made right here in the United States. Visit madeinamericastore.com, featuring thousands of 100% American-made products from all American materials and labor. They are the highest quality products available. We've inspired a Buy American movement that is creating and saving American jobs every day and keeping our money here instead of sending it overseas. So are you tired of lip service? Let our government know what really matters to the American people. Creating jobs matters. Manufacturing matters. Made in America matters. After 4 years in business and countless jobs created through our 400-plus suppliers, we've built a simple working model to strengthen our economy. It's a proving fact. Made in America matters because China is a long drive to work. Shop online at madeinamericastore.com or connect with us on Facebook.
Looking for a way to enjoy your MP3 music without seeing messy wires? The in-dash Sony DSX digital media receiver features an integrated USB tune tray that lets you connect, store, and control your MP3 player behind the sleek flip-down faceplate. Now you can enjoy great audio quality for your music without visible wires. Plus, the Bluetooth technology provides hand-free phone access and streaming audio ability. Learn more at sony.com/DSX.
More than half of U.S. children and adults have never received music education, although 68% think it's important, according to a new poll commissioned by Primrose Schools. Early, consistent exposure to music has been found to support musical ability, language development, motor coordination, social skills, and learning. Visit justaskaprimrosemom.com to hear what moms are saying about Primrose Schools' new partnership with the Music Class, an international early childhood music education company.
Welcome back to Grizz Nation. No bull talk radio with Morry, the Grizz Taylor. Dial 855-98-GRIZZ to join in. Stand by for the Grizz.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here on Grizz Nation. This is Michael Caputo sitting with Morry, the Grizz Taylor, the Chief Executive Officer of the Titan Tire Company. And Morry, we actually have an interesting question here that I want to ask from the internet before we get into audience questions. Jen from Portland, Oregon, writes in to ask you, making a sex tape that accidentally gets leaked to the press can make a girl like Kim Kardashian a multi-millionaire. What in the world does that say about the path our society has taken?
You want to get into sex with me?
No, not with you, Morry. Thank you very much, though.
First thing, I don't pay any attention to it, so, what people do, it follows up on the question of conservative views. You got the progressive on the liberal thing, and, they want to run around with no clothes. They want to do whatever the hell they want to do. To a certain extent, don't bother me. I mean, you go back to Barnum and Bailey, you bring me a freak and I'll bring you a crowd. And so that's basically what happens. After a while, you get tired of looking at the freak and you go on to do your own thing. So,
but these people are actually using these tactics to make themselves popular. Morry, if we were to make this radio show extremely popular.
I think she's ugly, personally. I think she's ugly as hell. So
maybe in order to make this radio show popular, we need to put out a sex tape with Morry Taylor and Kim Kardashian or something.
Yeah, well,
that won't happen.
That ain't going to happen, folks. So, I don't, there's nothing, why don't we put a bunch of tapes out with a bunch of these IS people? You know how they've been beheading people?
Right.
Why don't we just show them a shotgun? Right, see what happens at a little upward angle under the jaw. And then send that out to them, say.
We have a question here from Gene from Rapid City, South Dakota, Morry.
Yep.
What do you think of all these Democratic Party politicians who are now afraid to say if they voted for Obama in the last election?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is, you sure the hell shouldn't vote for him anyhow, okay? So
You mean these Democrats, yeah?
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't. I mean, it's just total nuts. So you look at, did you see the ad of those little girls?
Oh, that
and
was
their
awful.
language. You talk about something. Well, the first thing.
It was called the F word for feminism?
Yeah,
something?
well, the first thing is they should find, this goes back to your question there, they should find the friggin' parents, all right? And for one thing, they to let their little girls do it, then, by God, they should go spend a little time in a little penance. That's just sick that they'd use those kids. And then I'd go after the guy who put it on TV or would put the ad on. I'd take the whole chain. You touched it, you know. That's one thing I do like about the Islamic punishment, at least in Singapore. You know,
when they were caning the kid for...
Man, some of them need a whip. I know, we can't do that. Yeah, some of them need it.
Yeah,
you know?
Did you play NFL football, Morry?
No, they need a little pain, okay? I mean, it is such a... you better be careful.
Yeah.
I tell you, if I ever had anybody do that with one of my kids, or my grandkids, I'd hire somebody to do it.
Yeah?
Damn right I would.
So, I mean, this actually...
You agree with that out there? I see head shaking. Is that right? I know that's cruel being, you know.
But, you know, this actually goes back to that same question about the Kardashian sex tape. I mean, you got to... Now Americans are putting very young girls out to say the F word over and over.
It goes back to, are you going to have some morals in life? Are you going to you live with your word? We don't have to because we got lawyers. So you just make big documents and see if there's a trick sentence in there for you're out. It's all BS. It used to be if a man shook your hand, hey, here's what we got to do. We got to go back and actually to the first question of the audience. Let me give everybody a little history. Most people don't know, but Davy Crockett could hardly write. But Davy Crockett was elected to Congress. Davy Crockett went and served. He served 2 terms. It was so boring he couldn't, and you can read on the Federal Register his statements when he would speak. And he quit. That's your question. Went back. He was from the eastern side of Tennessee. And he went back, and he was back home doing what he did in his country. Now, here's what people don't know. Davy Crockett, when he was a young man, was sent to work on a farm. And he worked on that farm because his dad was an indentured, what they call that, indentured servant, had to pay off for the guy who loaned him money. So he sent Davy. Davy went, and it was with the farmer. He got to be such a shot that the farmer then started taking him around to all of the squirrel and the shooting contests, and he won money. So he paid it off. In a way, he went because he was such a damn good shot. Well, after he came back from Congress, he was sitting back there, and they said, Davy, you got to go back. You got to run again. 2 years later, elected again, went back for the 3rd time. And again, he couldn't put up with all the BS there. They just wouldn't listen. So he quit again, but he came home. He got the letter from Jim Bowie, his buddy. He called his 2 sons in. He told them, I got to go. This was a friend I went through all hell with, and I got to go down, and he's in trouble in San Antonio. So I'm going to go down and try to help him. Now get this. What politician you know of today that could get on a horse in eastern Tennessee and ride that son of a bitch that he knows he might not come back, but he felt proud enough his 2 boys would take care of his wife, went down there, and it's not like Disney, folks. They did, the Alamo, they killed 2,000 of San Antonio's troops. They ran out of bullets. They didn't do that heroic thing. They ran out. There was no more to shoot. Yeah, they had knives, but what the hell. They opened it up. San Antonio come in, tied their hands behind their back, and went around and had this guy execute him. That don't make for a good movie. Actually, it kind of pisses you off when you hear about it, okay? And then I bet you don't know the other story. A guy named GrizzNation Taylor, he did kick the shit out of San Antonio, and San Antonio didn't shoot his ass. And that was in Brownsville, Texas, and it was the last we seen of San Antonio. But Santa Ana. But the point is, we have started to let the decay. I think, hopefully, it will start to swing back. But you got to stand up and start saying it. And I appreciate, the question, because it fits into all of it. Everything he asked. You got to, I tell the people that work for me, it's hard. You cannot establish in a large corporation want to be loved. If you get a boss that wants to be loved, you got a bad boss. You have to be respected, but you got to respect them. If you don't respect them, then you got a whole bunch of chaos, okay? So, and those who hire people, it's tough. It really is.
Well, let me ask you this, Morry, just to go back to the question that was asked. What do you think of all these Democratic politicians who are afraid to say they voted for Obama? What do you think of it?
They're freaking cowards, so send them home. Let's get strong enough to set the suckers right, But you go to Michigan, you got union. First thing, everybody has to understand, the most money put into the election is from unions.
Right.
When you count everything that they do. Now, what are they for? They are for total power. If you don't believe me, the head of the AFL-CIO, that's, what's the hell's his name? Tucker?
Don't know.
No.
I don't
Trunka. Now, Trunka, his last presidency of which union? The miners' union. So you think out there in West Virginia, everything else, what in the hell, man? This is, you were a miner. You did all it. He sold all of them. Every friggin' one of them, he sold down the friggin' drain. I know it's against the law, but they ought to just take him over to the miners' camp and just let him execute the sucker. So,
you're okay. Well, I'll tell you this: the miners know this, right? I mean, they're talking about it. They're pretty upset.
Well,
about it.
Yeah, but I have to represent everyone now, and of course, all the government workers. There's a hell of a lot more of them than there is of you, boys.
That's right.
So, we don't mind if you just disappear.
Well, we're going to go off to some commercial messages here in a second, but we're going to come back and talk about this voter ID law that was upheld by the Supreme Court out in Texas this past week, Morry. But
you sit there and want to talk. They upheld, our government doesn't want you to have, they want anybody to vote if you're on the property, okay? The joke is, if you read the Constitution, you know who sets all the rules and regs on voting? The states.
That's right.
The states do. Let's get into this gay marriage thing, too.
All right, well, listen.
I'm just ready to take on.
He's on a roll.
Right.
Listen, we'll be back here on GrizzNation in just a minute. Don't forget, give us a call at 855-984-7499. That's 855-98-GRIZZ.
The Grizz.
Mark Andel, owner of the Made in America store. Together we can help grow our economy and create jobs for Americans by buying products made right here in the United States. Visit MadeInAmericaStore.com, featuring thousands of 100% American-made products from all American materials and labor. They are the highest quality products available. We've inspired a Buy American movement that is creating and saving American jobs every day and keeping our money here instead of sending it overseas. So are you tired of lip service? Let our government know what really matters to the American people. Creating jobs matters. Manufacturing matters. Made in America matters. After 4 years in business and countless jobs created through our 400-plus suppliers, we've built a simple working model to strengthen our economy. It's a proven fact. Made in America matters because China is a long drive to work. Shop online at MadeInAmericaStore.com or connect with us on Facebook.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Ovaltine. Give your kids the nutrition they need to be their best. Visit us at OvaltineUSA.com. Telling your child about healthy food choices is important, but showing her what to eat goes a lot further. Have her help create the grocery list, then bring her to the store with you. Picking out healthy foods together helps kids get in the habit of thinking about what they're eating every day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Tired of worrying about potentially toxic spills around your home, office, or garage? Now there's a quick, inexpensive way to clean up any oil-related spill. EPA-approved Oil Out Plus contains no noxious fumes or annoying scents. It's odor-free, lightweight, and easy to handle. In fact, Oil Out Plus is scientifically formulated to bond with spills on a molecular level. Cleaning up spills has never been easier. Visit Oil Out Plus to learn more. Oil Out Plus, cleaning up our planet one spill at a time.
If you work in Washington, you better duck. Dial 855-98-GRIZZ to join GrizzNation. And we're back with Morry Taylor, the Grizz.
Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, for the last 15-minute segment of GrizzNation, the weekly talk show hosted by Morry the Grizz Taylor, the CEO of Titan International Tire Company. Our last 15 minutes of every week, 3 to 5 p.m., you're able to hear the Grizz and ask questions if you want to at 855-984-7499. That's 855-98-GRIZZ with 2 Z's. Now, Grizz, I'll tell you, we were just talking about this right before the break. Last week, the United States Supreme Court denied a request to block a Texas law requiring residents to show ID before they vote. And the people who don't support this, the people who oppose voter ID, say that that's discriminatory, that they're trying to keep the lower class from the polls because they may not have IDs. Do you believe that?
No.
A
How do you like those
that.
questions? No.
No.
Okay.
No. But they say that loud and clear.
Well, I'm glad they do, but the first thing, federal government doesn't have a damn thing to do with it. Number one, because it's a state to set. There's no. Did they say if you have dots on your forehead, you don't have to have a photo ID? No. They said everybody got it. So if everybody got to, how's it discriminatory?
Well,
do we have an invisible person? That's right. Do we have dead people that have been voting? Yeah. Now.
But they say, but Morry, the critics say, and I'm a big believer in voter ID, but the critics say that the minorities, like, the underprivileged, the lower class, the folks who don't have, the people who are unemployed, they can't get to the place where they need to get their ID photograph taken, whether it's the DMV or whatever, and that therefore they're being disenfranchised, they're being blocked from voting, and yet it's hard for them to actually find someone who can't get an ID.
First thing, how the hell they get there to vote if they can't get there to get a damn ID?
Yeah.
They get it for free.
That's two different places.
Wait, I know. Oh, I don't know how. Give me a break, okay?
Well, I mean, in Texas, they were actually reaching out to people, trying to get them to places to get the proper IDs. They were bending over backwards. They spent millions on trying to get those IDs to every single person of voting age. But so it's still discriminatory.
Let's cut all the BS. We know that Democrats have been in love with the dead for years, okay? So they've had problems having all the ghosts show up to get their photo ID. They had a few, but the photo didn't take. So I guess that's what. At least we got the Supreme Court figured enough of this stuff. So let's move on. Now, the other part that we were talking about gets back to the moral situation. And if you read the Constitution, you notice the Constitution has a section, it's only one paragraph. The things the state are not empowered to do. One paragraph. Okay? Actually, the federal government has very few things they really can do. But what happens, you send 535 egos, they start thinking they can do everything. They got 9 judges, and if you put the right people in, you know, they all agree. I mean, it's really stupid. I'll tell you another thing that's stupid. You notice on TV how they always want to show you how all these government bureaus that nobody knows what in the hell they are all have these armed government workers. Their own SWAT
police
team.
forces? Yeah.
They got their own police force, their own SWAT team. They're doing all this. If anything is nuts, that's nuts, okay? Now, if the Bureau of Management Affairs is worried about their safety or something, then all you got to do is go see a federal judge, and he'll send federal marshals with him.
Yeah, but Morry, they want to increase their head count. They want more people that work for them. They
That's
want
a
police
magic
force.
question
Right.
there. I'm glad you're getting it, Michael, because
takes me a while.
The bigger the building, there's only one at the top, and he gets more money. It's all money is what it is, and you got to get the government down. And you know,
well, you
and
proposed that in
just,
'96.
Yeah, and it's not just. It is not just the civilian. We got the finest military, but we got the largest one. You know, you look at, we have more generals for the size. We're not even 25% of World War II. And we got like 15 times more generals. Something's goofy, okay? And, you know, we got to quit handling things the way we do. And to send our troops to West Africa?
That's crazy.
Well, I'm glad you agree with me. I call it insane, okay? And that tells you, as I said to, I have a few board members that are from Harvard. They went to school at Harvard. The kids went to Harvard.
You don't hold it against them, do you?
Well, no, I said to him last night, I says, well, I just want to tell you all, it just goes to prove you don't have to be smart to get through Harvard. You guys are getting a bad rep, okay? You thought you worked so hard? No, you don't have to be smart. You know, you just keep close contact. You went around telling everybody how smart he was. He wasn't smart. So, but that's what goes on. I mean, it's pathetic, the federal government, what they're doing. It's, we got election coming up. You know, nobody's talking about, on the Democratic side, they're talking about Hillary running. I was just thinking, you know, Biden's our vice president. You remember the big war they had about a lady named Sarah Palin running? How, you know, what in the hell's he? He's the most incompetent. I mean, you read how they talk about, he's never been right on anything. And he just keeps smiling, joking, and screwing up. And they just went insane about Sarah Palin.
Well, that's because
At
she's
least,
a Republican. You know, I mean, but
well, it don't matter. But she ran a state. She also turned around. She's a mother. You know, then they beat up on her. I mean, it's just crazy.
Well, we actually have a question from the internet here, Morry, that I think is kind of relevant. Larry from East Long Branch in Jersey writes in, well, finally Cuomo and Christie announced they were going to start quarantining healthcare workers returning to their states from West Africa. When is the United States government going to wake up? At least somebody's doing something about it now in New Jersey and New York, but it seems like it ought to be on a national level. Do you think they should be quarantining people who come in? Or should they shut down the flights?
First thing, what in the are you going to quarantine them over on Ellis Island? I mean, why do you let them in? I mean, it's still a dumbass thing. Why should we send anybody over there? I mean, you turn around. If they want to volunteer and go over there, fine. You quarantine them over there. Well, we already seen how, we know how to do all this. We know where. Come on, folks. The government is capable of doing war, taxing you, and sending money out. And that's about it. And you want to do anything more with them? As I tell everybody, my perfect bureaucrats, the Bureau of Indian Affairs. What bureau is longer than almost 200 years old, okay? And go show me what they did for the reservations and the Native Americans. Number one, you shut the bureau down, you take 4 years of the pay. Anybody that's on a reservation, you split the money up to them, you split the reservation, give them the property. If they got a casino, it's theirs, they can keep that. Now, folks, we're all Americans. I don't want to hear, we have African Americans, we have Hispanic Americans, you got Asian Americans.
Italian Americans.
No, you don't have Italian Americans. You're a Caucasian. You're like some crab running around. In my book, you stop all this nonsense. First thing, Africa is bigger than America. In Nigeria has 3 distinct tribes, but hell, they're bigger than any country in Europe. You're either an American or you're not an American. Stop all this other, and we move on from there.
So you're saying, Morry, if in fact you were president, if they have a casino, they can keep their casino. Just like if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Huh?
Yeah. But I mean what I say. And I would believe that as time goes, their heritage, they can have their own little heritage if they want, or however, I don't.
Well, Morry, we've got about just another minute and 30 seconds here in this week's show, and we're just 10 days, right? 10 days out from Election Day, a very important Election Day. What do you have to say to folks? Right about now is when people are paying attention. This is when the undecided voters start making up their mind. If you were talking to an undecided voter right now, and you could tell them what you thought in 1 minute, what would you say to them?
You're really, after 6 friggin' years, 2 before that, and you're still undecided? I'll tell you what you should do. You probably don't realize that there's a clog, and it's between your ears. So go over to the friggin' wall and sit there and just wrap your butt the wall,
Headbutt it.
Headbutt that sucker. And when you get done, remember, you don't have to do it again, because if you go back vote for a Democrat, then you should go back and just keep hitting the wall for about 2-3 days.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you're undecided in today's election and next week's election, go butt your head up against the wall. Make sure you do that in time for next week's GrizzNation, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is Michael Caputo signing off with Morry the Grizz Taylor. Thanks, Grizz, for taking the time. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Michael.